up by all of the media, and closure was put on the crop circles in the media completely in the United States and in England with this. This was a designed intelligence operation, a propaganda move carried out illegally against the American people. The people who did this, and I include in that the executives at NPR who made the decision to put it on the air knowing that it was not true, should be put in jail. They belong in prison. They violated the law. They committed felonies. One quite prominent, in fact, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist told me 5 years ago, he said, Whitley, if one word of this book is true, science has taken a kick in the shins because we've been lied to. He said to me 3 days ago, science took a body blow. We've been lied to, more than lied to. He said, I'm beginning to suspect I'm looking at one of the most evil things that has ever been done on this planet, and that is the concealment of the greatest secret that mankind has ever known. I said, you're jumping to the conclusion that it's aliens. And he said, of course it's aliens. I said, wait a minute. Let's be clear about this. Don't do that. It's implants right now. It's crop circles. It's video. We don't know if it's aliens yet. Let's look through the implants, the video, and the crop circles and see what's on the other side of that. Then we can decide. The secret government is like any kind of wild animal. It will do anything to survive. It will do anything it can to survive. It's going to be hard to break it. But if we want an American republic and a free country, we have to break it. The secrecy has to end in toto. It has to be possible for the average citizen to turn on his computer and get any piece of information that the government possesses. Or we don't have a republic. We don't have a republic. Now, this is not a free country. This is a police state. And I have an implant in my ear to prove it. I only know this, that what I intend to do with this is everything I possibly can to make it useful. I'm absolutely not going to sit back passively. That's the one thing that's true. Whether or not somebody chose me for this, I don't know. But if somebody chose me, if they chose me to go out there and terrorize the American people or keep them passive in some way, they picked the wrong guy. Because I'm going to go out there, I'm about freedom and empowerment. And I believe totally from the depths of my soul that the average individual, the average person walking the street is an extraordinary, amazing being. And I want to see those beings wake up to their power. I am human. I can tell you a lot about human being and my being. But I'm not going to try to tell you about something else like that, especially with as little information as I actually have. What domain am I in? Am I in a domain generated by some computer in Washington? Or I am in a domain that involves real contact with aliens? I don't know the answer to those questions yet. And until I do know the answer, how can I possibly discuss that? I can't.
So you're talking about the limitations of your own consciousness?
I'm talking about the limitations not of my consciousness, but of my knowledge.
And it's affecting your consciousness. Is it affecting your consciousness in the sense that it's
Well,
opening
look,
up your consciousness?
let me tell you something that's very interesting that's happening right now. The implant is actually firing off at this moment. The ear is getting hot. The ringing is starting. We've turned it on by this conversation.
What we're talking about.
What we're talking about right now, in the past few minutes, the past 5 or 10 minutes, it's turned itself on. It's on now. Now, isn't that amazing that a man can sit here and tell you that right now the implant is functioning? We've learned that much about it just in the past few weeks, just since we found out they were there.
What does it feel like subjectively?
It's hot. The ear is hot. And there's a ringing sound. And in a few minutes, if it stays on, the ear will get very red because of the heat.
It's red now.
Yeah, the ear is literally red now. And the temperature of the ear right now is about 101 degrees. It'll go up as high as 107. And when it's 107, it'll be bright red. I mean, I'll tell you this. You couldn't have asked for this is actually, you may even be able to pick up the redness of this ear on television. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can see it or not.
Yeah, there's a definite color difference.
Okay. Well, that's an example of an implant actually functioning while we're doing this interview.
Did we piss him off?
I don't know what we did yet. I only know that there was some part of this conversation that caused the implant to turn on. I don't know what part. I don't know whether we angered them or whether it's interest or what it is. But I do know that it turned on, and you can see it.
Well, you know, we spoke a lot of stuff, anti-government. You know,
It was interesting that when we were talking about the government is when the implant turned on, not when we were talking about the visitors. My own uncle, Colonel Edward Strieber, was one of the officers that received the debris from Roswell when this unknown craft crashed there, and he was stationed at Wright Field. And part of his assignment was to find to create a secure containment for some of this debris. And his best friend, General Arthur Exon, has gone on record in interviews in various books detailing a part of his personal experiences working in the Air Force in this area. It's just the fact that it's been held secret doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but the secrecy's wearing thin. No one's trying very hard to keep it anymore. It's not exactly like it was 5 years ago when they would tell you, well, this is the greatest secret the United States possesses, and then you'd find out the people who were supposed to know all of the secrets didn't know this one. It was really strange. But it's an open secret, at least in the political community in Washington. In fact, Colin Powell, I believe, in the last interview he gave before withdrawing from his candidacy, possible candidacy as president, said the next president will have to deal with the UFO issue. All of our friends in New York and Washington, we had friends in the political field, we had friends, because some of my books previously had been very political and very involved in the Democratic Party politics and so forth. That ended. We ended up with two couples who stayed our friends in New York, and everyone disappeared in Washington. But then over the next few years, they came creeping back to ask questions about the visitor experience and the aliens and stuff. They were fascinated. So most of the old Washington friendships have started up again, I'm glad to say. The Pope has said if there indeed turn out to be people from other worlds here, we should recognize their validity as creatures of God. And I think that's the position of the Church. I call the work I'm doing now, I say that it's about mankind entering the cosmos. And I think we're certainly just as good as any kind of beings and creatures I've ever seen. So my opinion is we belong out there with everybody else, if indeed everybody else is out there. I have no idea whether the universe is teeming with life or not. We have a sample of one planet to work from. It's not much. I think that the Hubble Space Telescope is beginning to suggest there are quite a number of stars with planets. And if that's the case, then inevitably there would be a lot of life in the universe, yes. But bear this in mind. The window that the Earth revolves in is only about 100,000 miles deep. And if it wasn't for the existence of this moon running around the planet, life would not have evolved. We'd have 300-mile-an-hour winds on Earth because of the velocity of rotation. So this little machine that has created all of this life here is actually an incredibly rare formation between a planet and a planetoid that just happened to be just the right distance from a star to where it's neither too cold nor too hot. So, given that, while I might say the universe would be teeming with life, it's not going to be overflowing with it. The thing is, there are so many stars that even given the fact that that rare structure would be so unlikely to form elsewhere, there might still be 200,000 or 300,000 other planets with conscious life on them.